Moments ago, he met the media. First question from our Meredith Marakovitz.
Gerrit, how do you unpack that first inning?
I mean, you just gotta dive into the film, really. I mean, I have a pretty vivid recollection. I think it's sometimes a bit easier to remember the bad stuff than it is the good stuff. But there were some bad pitch selections. There were some bad pitches. We got punished for it again. So.
You almost looked like you were kind of uncomfortable out there on the mound. Was it just a matter of not having command, not knowing what direction you wanted to go? How would you explain the process as you were trying to work your way through that inning?
Yeah, it's interesting you say that. That's good feedback. I was just kind of trying to focus. We come out with well executed first batter, and the second batter. I think between Winker and Santana, there were some non-competitive pitches, but there were a handful of pitches that were very close that were not getting reactions, I think, that we were anticipating on. And then with Winker, we really didn't deviate from the plan. We probably should have, because we just didn't get in the strike zone enough. Santana was a similar situation where we got backed into a corner, and Suarez, I think, had just had enough of first pitch sliders for the entire series, it seems like, for the most part, and he was, it wasn't the best one that I threw, certainly. I threw some really good ones later in the game. I threw some good ones, shortly thereafter, but he obviously was looking for that pitch for one reason or another and put an A swing on it, similar to the one that he did on JMO last night. So, and then as the inning continued to unfold, Crawford had another good piece of hitting on a curveball that didn't quite get down enough, even though I think if it did get underneath the zone, he's probably going the other way with it again. He showed us today that was his plan. And then Clinic. Yeah, that was pretty good. I don't know there. Another really certain swing on a pretty good changeup. Probably didn't establish a fastball, is my first gut feeling after the ball left the park to him. But at the same time, he was extremely patient the rest of the day, and we were executing pitches on the corner to him. So it just seemed like he might be trying to get an account that he thought was advantageous for him.
Throw more curveballs in that first inning than you usually do out of the gate.
I mean, to be honest, like last week, it was such a weapon for us. Maybe that was something that somebody watched. And today, we just weren't able to find the strike zone with it when we wanted to, and then we weren't really able to get out of the strike zone. I mean, I guess Crawford, Frazier just touches everything. It's just, the kind of player that he is. You put him on the ground softly, and he finds a hole through the shift. But falling behind both Santana and Winker with, kind of challenge curveballs just underneath the zone. And again, there were a couple of very short ones there that were non-competitive. But, we got fires on those last week. We didn't get fires on them this week. We know they're a relatively patient team, and they picked their spots to swing, and they just they seem to just, aggressive pitches just outside the zone weren't getting flinches, and then having to come in the zone and they were anticipating us being in the zone. It's just like we were just a step behind.
You were saying pitch selection in some cases. Were any of those, the slide of the fastball and change up on the home runs, or any of those pitches you wish you'd chosen a different pitch?
Well, based on how Suarez performed on the fastball for the rest of the game, I would say that was probably the wrong pitch. Based on the changeup to Clinic, how he performed on the fastball again until, he was in another 3-run count after 4 quality pitches in the third at bat. I would still say generally he probably should have challenged him with another fastball there. And the fastball to Santana, that's just a challenge pitch. That's a product of missing with the off speed.
Gerrit, when you're having a bad outing, it seems like a lot of them are one bad inning, and then you regroup after the inning, and then you're kind of lights out again. When you're going through that, do you think you need that time that I got to kind of regroup, or what's going through your mind?
Look, to be honest, last week, obviously it was a tough result, and the week before, I thought we pitched well, but we still lost. And Kyle and I spent a lot of time this week trying to figure out, I felt that it was a wet night, it was a challenging night, and there were some squirrely things going on against Kansas City, and baseball kind of happened a little bit, but when we went through Merrifield and Perez, felt that was a bit predictable. I mean, obviously Perez was looking for that pitch. So, we wanted to get into a situation where I think we were trusting our instincts more, so that we could be a little bit less predictable. And maybe we overdid that in the first with all the curveballs. I mean, clearly they weren't working. Maybe after the third or fourth one, maybe after the second or third one to Winker, it was like maybe we should have gone a different direction. And then after that, we also wanted to communicate in the dugout so that we're on the same page. And so, it's interesting you bring it up, because that was part of our goals this week, was to try to trust our instincts more and make sure that we communicate so that we're more on the same page in between innings. Obviously, the first happened, and then outside of that, we did a really good job of staying ahead of the guys. I mean, I had a pretty good plan, I felt like, going in. I mean, it's kind of hard to believe how much it just, blows up so quick, but, I'm trying to be excellent out there, and obviously we're not. obviously the game's letting us know we're not there, so we gotta keep grinding. We got to keep grinding on it. I mean, it doesn't feel good. We let a series get away from us, and it's because of a very poor first inning today, and it's on me.
How would you sum up your season so far? Obviously, a lot of really good outings, a couple of bad ones in there. You're still pretty good. I know you're a perfectionist.
I just want to make sure that look, that Orioles game, that Orioles game, soft contact did not go our way. Obviously, that was huge, but we strive to be better than that because we want to win that game with a 3-run lead. And then the same thing happened with Kansas City. So summing up the season, there's been good ones, there's been bad ones. The numbers are what the numbers are. I'm just trying to stay on the same drumbeat of just trying to get better every week. And sometimes there aren't answers for stuff that happens in this game, but there are some things that I think that we can be doing better, and we're grinding to do that. And so in terms of the overall season, right now I'm looking to try to continue to improve. We've had good ones, we've had clunkers, we've gotten baseballed. But we're trying to take all those things that we learned from those games and keep trying to get better. So, the numbers are where the numbers are. We got to be performing the way we want to perform, that level of excellence, by the time October comes. So.
Your idea of what you can do to make some of those adjustments, maybe mid-inning instead of between innings?
Yeah, I mean, that's a good thought. Certainly, that's the instinctual aspect I think that we were going for, or trying to have at least trying to have one of us just try to get that feeling. I can't explain it sometimes when probably hitters have the same thing, where you have a gut feeling about this is coming, or you have a gut feeling that this pitch is going to work, or you're confident, and just quite frankly, that gut's been it's not been right, and it seems to kind of. It's odd that it's kind of compounded in one inning the last two games, and then for the most part over the overall course of the game it's been right. So maybe there's a bit of take a step off, regroup, have a conversation with the catcher. I mean, definitely going to dive into that aspect for sure, because we kept communicating as the game went on, and we kept pitching really good. So
is there anything sort of like that you see as kind of a common thread between the games where you performed well? Maybe it was not a common thread in the games where you didn't, or vice versa? I
mean, sometimes I can't say that for sure. I mean, sometimes we learn things from, fortunate results, and that's going to happen too. Like, you run into a barrel at some point and you learn that you were wrong, but your defense picked you up, or the ball went to somebody, or a couple of hits today, Crawford going the other way. That's going to happen. Frazier, being able to, hit 2 softballs through the shift. The second one, for example, on the changeup, he's probably a little slowed down after the one before. We executed a good one. But maybe there's a little bit more room for error somewhere else. So you can learn from that, apply it, and it doesn't hurt you. What's happened is that, we've had to learn from getting crushed. So, at that point, it's you got crushed.